Donald Trump wants you distracted because he is losing on every single front, whether it is a shutdown that he can't negotiate his way out of, an Epstein crisis that he can't keep you distracted from, or any of the other failures we are seeing in this administration. Donald Trump can't find the way out, and he can't get you distracted, which is just what Jesse Watters accidentally admitted on television, admitting what Donald Trump doesn't want you to know in a clip that we are going to get into and see why it now has Trump panicking. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into that clip of Jesse Watters admitting it all, really, I want to start with someone who is calling out one of Donald Trump's biggest failures right now. That's his refusal to act on the shutdown, and it's Gavin Newsom right here.
And the President of the United States has said nothing. Speaker of the House said he's not interested in helping the American people that were devastated, lives torn asunder here in Los Angeles. I mean, where is the accountability in that respect? Where's the spirit that defines the best of this country? To be here for fellow Americans in the time of recovery, uncertainty. It's been months, not a peep from the President of the United States, not a word from Speaker Johnson. I was proud as a taxpayer, as an American, to have Speaker Johnson's back when his district in his state was devastated by floods. I said the same thing to Greg Abbott as we sent him personnel and support because he needed it with the devastation of the flood. That I'm proud that our tax dollars, disproportionately California's tax dollars, will be used to help support the recovery in Texas. That's what makes America great. Not a word from the Republican Party, not a word from Speaker Johnson, not a word from the President of the United States. I applaud the work that initiated under the Biden administration in this investigation and the work that this administration did as it relates to finding this person and ultimately pushing these charges and making these charges. But I find it shameful that they haven't done a damn thing for the thousands of people who lost their homes and whose lives were devastated from this disaster. Not a word from the President of the United States.
Donald Trump doesn't want to act because Donald Trump doesn't know how to act. Project 2025 was put together not just for Republicans to have a blueprint, but with the understanding that Donald Trump's brain isn't there anymore. He can't effectively govern. He wants to hand off all responsibilities to other people while he pretends that he's the big, strong, tough guy. It's just not the case. Trump is losing in court. He is losing support, not just from his voters, but from within Congress, where things are only getting more difficult for him as it relates not just to the shutdown, but covering up his Epstein connection, because Marjorie Taylor Greene is speaking out about the Democrat who's going to deliver a vote on Epstein. And we got to take a look before we get to Jesse.
Is the Jeffrey Epstein files, wanting to release those. I know Democrats have also been calling for that, a few other Republicans as well. The Democrats are accusing Speaker Johnson of delaying the swearing in of Arizona's Democratic Congresswoman-elect because she would give the last vote needed to release those Epstein files. I'm wondering, the Speaker, for his part, he has denied that. He said it's because of the shutdown. Have you spoken to him? Do you think she should be sworn in right away?
Well, I'll say it like this. I can't conclusively say if that's why the House is not in session, but the House should be in session. And the House should be in session for many reasons. We have appropriation bills that need to get passed. There is a new Democrat that's been elected that does deserve to be sworn in. Her district elected her. We have other bills that we need to be passing. And if it's to avoid the discharge petition, why drag this out? That is going to have 218 signatures. And so I say go ahead and do it and get it over with.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much that Donald Trump doesn't want you paying attention to. There is so much that Donald Trump doesn't want you focused on. And that is the reason why he has his propagandists 24/7 spinning up news, creating fake narratives, and trying to keep you distracted. We've always known that, but they've never admitted it until now when Jesse Watters made clear that this is a coordinated effort, saying this right here. Jesse Watters thanks Trump for being a de facto Fox News producer. Fox host Jesse Watters thanked Donald Trump for essentially acting as a Fox News producer because of the content Trump creates. On Wednesday, the president held an Antifa roundtable at the White House where he reiterated his claim that a group of far-left activists is conspiring to wreak havoc in U.S. cities. The meeting came amid reporting that Trump is considering invoking the Insurrection Act, which would allow him to deploy active-duty soldiers to conduct law enforcement operations in the U.S.
So, Jesse, one of the things that the president's considering is the Insurrection Act because a federal judge in Portland has blocked his ability to go at this the way he wants to. Do you think we're going to see the Insurrection Act employed in order to get more National Guard into these places?
I wish we didn't have to see it, but Democrats are not doing their job, so we might have to see it. I'd rather be called a Nat than a Nazi, Harold. And I brought a poll. I thought you were Jessica, but you're Harold today. And a majority of Americans think Trump is deporting the right types of people. It is funny to watch Trump be a Fox News producer. We wake up in the morning and we look at the news and you see Trump is holding an Antifa roundtable at the White House, and you just say thank you. Thank you, Donald Trump. This is the best. We know all of these reporters that are around this roundtable. Nick Sorter, Davis Court, Andy No. They're like guests on our shows. The mainstream media has probably never heard of any of these people, and this is why this is such great programming.
Jesse Watters is literally giving away the game. That Donald Trump is creating nonsense, he's spinning up shit, so the right-wing outlets can take these narratives, misconstrue them, run with false stories, so you don't pay attention to the Epstein scandal, so you don't pay attention to the government shutdown, so you don't pay attention to loss after loss for Donald Trump in court as he tries to attack blue states and blue cities, which, by the way, have crime numbers dropping to historic lows, while it's actually red states that need the donor states like California to support them, because Missouri, Texas, Louisiana, they're not doing it on their own. They're actually suckling off of these blue states and blue cities, where 70% of the wealth in America, by the way, is created. So if you want to whine and you want to complain, how about you go do it on your own? It seems like Mike Johnson's district. If anyone needs the National Guard, it's him. But Donald Trump doesn't want you paying attention to that. Donald Trump wants you listening to whatever ridiculous narrative Fox is spinning up, which is why we have to hit back, we have to combat, and we have to make clear what is actually happening right now, which is Donald Trump is expanding the powers of the presidency to benefit himself in whatever way that may be, whether it's covering for himself and his other pedo friends, whether it is Donald Trump grifting billions of dollars through crypto, or going after his political opponents, which is what we saw tonight with Letitia James, and what Chris Hayes broke down as a complete sham right here.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. New York Attorney General Letitia James has been indicted by Donald Trump's Department of Justice on one count of bank fraud and one count of false statements to a financial institution. Now, this is one of those situations where basically everyone in the political world, anyone who's watching the news develop, saw this coming. And the reason is that the President of the United States explicitly, in writing, directed the Attorney General to indict his political opponents on obviously trumped-up charges. 19 days ago, Donald Trump posted this message on social media, quote, "Pam, I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially same old story as last time, all talk, no action. Nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia? They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is being done," adding, quote, "We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now, President DJT." At the time, given how brazen that was, there was speculation that it must have been meant as a private directive to his AG to go after his enemies using the full tools of the Department of Justice. Well, now we know it was. According to the Wall Street Journal, quote, "Trump meant to send a private message to Attorney General Pam Bondi urging her to prosecute former FBI Director James Comey and his other favored targets, according to U.S. officials familiar with the matter." Trump believed he had sent Bondi the message directly, addressing it to Pam, and was surprised to learn it was public, the official said. Public or private, the message was received. Trump's U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia, that man there, a guy named Eric Siebert, was pushed out. Trump publicly called for him to leave because he did not believe there was sufficient evidence to charge Letitia James or James Comey. We've got reporting that there were even memos written to that effect by line attorneys. And then Siebert was promptly replaced by Trump's former personal attorney, Lindsay Halligan, who had zero previous experience as a prosecutor, never even tried a case. Now, it is not even clear if Halligan was legally appointed to the job she now putatively occupies in the first place, but she did get to work anyway and immediately indicted Comey, who was arraigned yesterday. And now today, Tish James. A sitting president doing this out in the open would have, I believe, ended the career of any president not named Trump. It's the biggest justice scandal we've seen in our lifetime. He is directly ordering the pretextual prosecutions of political critics, of people he doesn't like, in a ham-fisted, retaliatory, lawless fashion that violates the laws of the country, the letter of the Constitution, and the spirit of liberty. Putting your political opponents in jail because they are your opponents, not because of what they did, is the heart of tyranny. It is an obviously impeachable offense. If there is any silver lining here, it is that the targets of Trump's ire and the retribution from a government he deigns to control are not going quietly. Much like James Comey before her, Letitia James has released a video statement stating in no uncertain terms, these are baseless charges as retaliation for James's office suing the Trump organization.
Letitia James will do exactly what James Comey is doing, which is not only show that Donald Trump is a weak, petulant child's president by fighting back and saying, I'm not going to bend the knee, but embarrassing him in court, showing that the people in this administration are just fundamentally clownish, that they're not prepared to do their jobs, that Donald Trump doesn't have any real cogent argument, one, for his theory of governance, or for his attacks on his political opponents. And let's talk about this theory of governance. I call it a politics of subtraction. Donald Trump thinks that if he rips up enough homeless encampments, that if he attacks enough trans people, if he removes enough of his Democrat political opponents, everything will work out. But what Donald Trump doesn't understand is there are not homeless people because of homeless encampments. It is because of a systematic failure of our economic system. That is the reason. It is because of actions taken by Republicans for decades that we have not addressed the crisis of affordability, the struggle that everyone, especially people in my generation, have with even the idea of buying a house. Let's talk about trans people. Donna, because people are different than you doesn't mean they lack humanity. If anyone who looks different lacks humanity, it's Stephen Miller. And if anyone who loves different lacks humanity, it's, I guess, Stephen Miller again, because I don't think he loves. But this is an idea that the right has that eventually they'll reach some bottom. That if they take away everyone in society and it's just them, things will be fine. But you know what, Donald? It doesn't work that way. You guys don't even like yourselves. We don't either. That's why we're going to keep calling you out. If you want to support that on this show, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And if you want to see me call out some MAGA idiots, click right here. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.